Good morning, everyone. This is Mark with Supercharged Wellness, Fitness, Nutrition, and Mindset. And today I want to talk about injuries. Injuries are something that have plagued me in my lifting career since very early on. I've always dealt with them. When I was 21, I separated this shoulder. It's never been the same since. Actually, if you see very closely, I know you maybe can't tell, but I can tell, it's a little bit smaller than the other one. It's actually missing a little bit of the anterior deltoid here, and it's actually affected the bicep muscle to a degree because there's an innervation issue. It's something that has hindered my training for the last 13 years. I did it at work. I fell off a roof during roofing. It was the fault of the person I was working with who didn't set up the safety restraints properly, and down I went. Woo! We had about 22 feet. Right into a snowdrift. Thank God there was a snowdrift there, but I landed on my side like this, and I just remember not being able to use my arm, not knowing what was really wrong with it. Going to a chiropractor, I think it was at the time, that the company owner asked me to go see. Basically said he would pay for my time off and pay for my visits. I did not file a WSIB claim. I was 21 years old. I was an idiot, and I basically screwed myself on that one. But that being said, this shoulder has been a problem with me my entire life. Okay, so I've trained through that my entire life. I've had issues with that, and it's caused pain up my neck, down my back, in my shoulder, down my arm, numbness, pain, strength discrepancies and problems like that, and actual atrophy to some degree in here. I've actually had to fight atrophy, which is the bodybuilder's nightmare. You don't want atrophy. That's muscle deterioration. All we do is try to build muscle, and I got muscle deterioration going on. So I'm trying to fight that off. And as you can see, it's not that bad, but on this side, I can tell. You can't really tell, but this side in here is actually kind of hollow compared to this side. It's different. And that's because of the shoulder. Another problem that I had when I was older, about a year and a half ago, something happened, and my bicep tendon ended up getting ripped off. This bicep tendon was completely severed from the bone, which attaches in here. So I have this scar. I don't know if you can see it. See right there? That scar, and then there's a scar here across where the surgeon had to go in and surgically reattach the tendon to the bone. So at that point, my doctor basically said, don't ever lift again. He's like, if you continue to bodybuild in this manner, you will most definitely re-rupture that tendon. Your arm will never really be the same. That being said, the bicep will actually look a little bit different. It is what it is. I don't really listen to doctors a lot of the time. With certain things I do, and then there's certain things that I just happen to have more knowledge than, and that's fine. But I chose to continue, and there's certain things that we can do physically, physio-wise, and there are certain things that we can take to speed up the healing process as well. And I did all of the above, and I was told not to lift anything for a year, for 12 months, not to lift anything. And that's not working out. I don't mean like working out at a high capacity like I am. I mean, don't even lift anything. Go to physio, sit around, and do some band work, basically. And I was like, yeah, okay, buddy, I'll be doing that real quick. No. How about no? So I did what he told me to do as far as going to physio. I did the physio, and I took some peptides that were amazing at healing the tendon, and I slowly started to work my way back up into the weights. And within 3 months, I was lifting again. I wasn't lifting as high as I could be, but I was lifting again. My bicep was lifted. But I started after the injury, not being able to bend my arm completely, not being able to even curl a 5-pound weight. And like I said, I had to use bands, rubber bands that you get, and I had to do a lot of like pulling motion and basically not train arms for a really long time. And I slowly inched back at it. And man, if anybody knows me, they know how freaking persistent I am. So I just kept plugging away. And that was in August of 2016 that I injured that. It is now today's February 1st actually of 2018. So we're talking like a year and a half ago. And I am getting ready for a bodybuilding contest right now. I was told never to work out again. Okay. So as far as that goes, don't always listen. Sometimes you know better. Sometimes your gut tells you what you need to be doing. And there are ways. There are things that are not pushed or promoted in Western medicine by doctors. We tend to trust these doctors. They don't always know best. You know, sometimes you have to be your own doctor. And I'm not saying that you should not follow their advice or not go to the doctor. I'm saying that sometimes it's just you have to do your own research and you have to look into your own health. And you know, even after that, I got injured really bad again. Like what was it, 5 months ago? 5 months ago, somehow, some way, I don't even know how I did it, to be honest. I think I was coughing or something like really hard, like, oh, like the force of a cough. I fractured my sternum. Right here, I actually fractured my sternum, and I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I remember crawling into the emergency room out of a cab at 4 o'clock in the morning in absolute agony, and the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, I couldn't take a deep breath without crying. I was on the floor crying like a little girl. It was horrible. And I went into the emergency room and I sat there for 4 hours in agony, not being able to take a proper breath. And finally they took me in the emergency room and the doctor took a look, no x-rays, no nothing, and said, here's some naproxen. And I was like, great, I can go to the Shoppers Drug Mart and get naproxen, you jackass. And yeah, what the heck? So the medical community had failed me again, you know? So I went to a chiropractor and I got some adjustments done because I didn't yet know that it was actually fractured. And he did some adjustments, and then 2 weeks later, he's like, oh, you should be all good, and I'm going back to see him, and he's like, why are you here? You should be fixed. And I'm like, I am dying. And oh man, he had to help me get off the table when he adjusted me. I literally couldn't push myself up to get off the table. I was that messed up. So he's like, you got to go get x-rays. So they sent me to the x-ray clinic, and I went and got x-rays, and then they forwarded them to the doctor, and I finally went, and they gave me some Percocet, which is fucking, I didn't want to take Percocet, but you know, I had to. I was dying. So I took Percocet for like 2 weeks, and I basically just like slept and lied there in agony, and like, man, okay, so I was like 202 pounds or something like that at the time when I hurt myself. I was down to about $178. I didn't lift for the entire 8 weeks because I couldn't, and then I started training again after the 8 weeks when I started to feel a little better. I wasn't 100%, but I didn't train chest, okay? And as you can see, my chest is back. My chest is back. It's back. So, persistence. Persistence. And again, use your brain. Do your research. Inquire within. Ask me. Ask other people. I have been injured a lot of times. I just explained 3 of them. That's some serious fucking injuries that I've gone through. And I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding show. So, you know, if you really want to let those injuries prevent you from moving forward and achieving what you want to achieve, then they will. If you want to persist and you want to push through and you do whatever's necessary to get through those injuries and make it to the other side, you can do it. I did it. Detrimental injuries. I'm talking bicep tendon rupture, not a tear, rupture. Like this shit was gone. This was up here. This was wiggling around like a fish in my arm. You could feel it. It was gone. That is a tendon. That's a tendon. It was gone, okay? This was debilitating. The shoulder, debilitating. And it still bothers me to this day. It's still, like, I can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can see it. But this shoulder likes to go forward a lot of the time, so I constantly have to do a lot of this kind of stuff and stretching and like really pulling it back in place and doing some this kind of stuff. And I've been using a YouTube channel, Smashworks. And he has a lot of good exercises for kind of like physio kind of exercises for, you know, shoulder integrity and different things like that. And that has been paramount in me being able to move forward with this. Because like if I couldn't train, like I know I would have to adjust and do something else. But like it would mess me up. So, you know, I'm really grateful for having the mind that I have and being able to, you know, get out of that deep dark place, because when you get hurt, man, and you can't do what you love, like holy shit, man, it's brutal. It's brutal. I got a couple friends going through it right now. One tore his tricep, and you know, he's been out, and then he fell and he messed it up again with this freaking weather, slipped on the ice. And shout out to Kevin, and you know, I hope for a speedy recovery. And anybody who's dealing with these kinds of things, like, you can get through it, man. You can get through it. You can get to the other side. You just got to be persistent, believe in yourself, and you can do it. This is Mark with Supercharged Wellness, and let's get supercharged.